What's going on, guys? Coach Liam here with Lift It For Me. Yes, this is my dog Walker on my mug. Love him to death. If you haven't met Walker, this is my service dog. He's hanging out here, but I'm obsessed with him if you can't really tell. All right, so with this video on the welcome package, I am going to talk about training in the app. So training is going to be huge for a lot of people. And I really worked hard to bridge the gap between in-person and online and cover all bases of your training. So aside from what I talked about with the training videos, this is how you're going to approach your training. All right, first things first we're going to talk about is our warm-up. So it's very important to warm up. In the beginning of our upper body workouts, I like to do a lot of shoulder dynamic warm-ups. This is going to help release the synovial fluid, keep those shoulders lubricated doing those pushes and overhead presses to make sure that we are not injuring ourselves. And the biggest thing is with warm-ups, you want dynamic warm-ups to keep blood flowing, releasing lactic acid, and to make sure that is your warm-up properly. Static stretching should be reserved after your workout when you're cooling down, where you could spend time on stretching and holding that stretch of that myofascial. All right, so dynamic stretching, if you don't already know, is the movement while stretching. You're holding those poses for a couple seconds. So even if it's a shoulder stretch, 2 seconds, and I'm moving, right? So this is a dynamic warm-up. A static stretch is holding that position for an extended amount of time. All right, so again, dynamic warm-up before your workout, static stretching after. All right, now alongside your warm-up, your exercises are going to have warm-up sets as well. With those warm-up sets, let's just say we're doing a chest press on a bench, okay? For your warm-up, you're going to perform that chest press, but with very light weight. And that's to, one, make sure that you're adjusting yourself properly, making that mind muscle body connection with what we're trying to target, and slowly get your body's central nervous system used to holding that weight and getting ready to work. All right, so we're starting off with 2 to 3 warm-up sets, and that's something light. You don't want to fatigue yourself out. You want to reserve your energy for those big sets, and that's going to be your proper warm-up. All right, rest time. So on the training app, please utilize those rest times. That's going to keep you on track with your exercise, making sure that you're moving along and not just dilly-daddling around, and making sure that you're working intentionally on your sets. All right, that rest time is that red stop button. Once you click it after that first set, that timer will go off, and then you can get right back into your routine. Tempo. So tempo is huge. I'm a huge believer in neurological style training. That means controlling that movement. The eccentric movement, which is the movement going down, the concentric movement, which is the movement coming up, and the isometric holds. So on every training protocol that you're going to see, there's going to be a little key where it's going to show you how to read that tempo. All right, so make sure that when you're going through your training program that you're reading all those notes, because all the abbreviations, everything that's going to be talked about as supersets, giant sets, drop sets, slow controlled tempos are all going to be explained there. So make sure that you guys are paying attention to that as well. All right, so hypertrophy training and progressive overloading. All right, so I'm going to give you guys my spiel of what I feel about reps. So reps, when you're looking at your training program and it says 3 sets of 10 reps, that rep count is just a marker. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do 10 reps at that weight, okay? Generally speaking, you want to be about 80% of where you're going to be at that rep count. So if I'm at 10 reps, I want to make sure I'm in the ballpark between 8 to 10 reps before coming to a complete failure. If I'm able to get all 3 sets with 10 reps, then I'm just spinning my wheels and I'm not really working out intentfully to make sure that I am producing enough tension to inhibit muscle growth. Okay, so that is keeping your body out of its comfort zone, continually adapting to the stresses that you're putting inside to the gym, and then when you're resting, you're building that muscle and then recovering from there. Okay, so with hypertrophy training, how you're going to approach it, let's just take a standard bicep curl for 3 sets of 10. Sorry about that. So let's take a bicep curl with 3 sets of 10, and from there, with the 3 sets of 10, I'm going to start at 50 pounds. Let's just say I was able to do 10 reps. All right, so now I'm going to go up in weight. I'm going to try the 60 pounds. This time I was only able to do 8 reps, And then my third set, I'll do 60 pounds again, and I was only able to do 7 reps. That means the next week when I perform that exercise again, I'm gonna aim to beat those rep count to try and match the 10 before I move up in weight. Okay, so that is the whole basis between progressive overload. I'm either beating the rep count or I'm beating the weight. All right, unless it says that it's going to be a drop set, then drop set is approached a little bit differently. So with that drop set, that means you're going to work your way down in weight and making sure each rep is intentful. All right, so we went over those couple things there. Last one is cardio. Cardio instructions are pretty straightforward. You are either going to be at a heart rate zone or a heart rate average, and that's to make sure that we are preserving as much muscle as possible and utilizing our stored fat, our glycogen stores, as a source of energy during that cardio. Of course, when you are prescribed your cardio, it's going to explain all those things for you, but just want to reiterate that everybody's cardio is going to be different depending on what stage you are at in your health and wellness journey. Deload and active recovery. This is huge. So I want to communicate to you guys that even though those check-ins are not going to be perfect, it may not be a rough week, or it may be a rough week, those check-ins are meant to see improvement on a weekly basis, okay? And there's going to be times where life is going to throw something at you and you are super stressed out, and the gym and your nutrition might fall under the wagon for a little bit. That's a good time to really take into consideration what a deload is, whether we are not seeing those numbers move or we hit a plateau. That's why it's important to keep that line of communication open so that I can maneuver you through a proper deload where it's kicking back from training, allow your central nervous system to kind of take a chill pill, lower those cortisol levels, and in turn actually get back into the gym better than where you were at before. All right? So that is all that for your training. If you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to reach out. Reach out to me in the app. I am here for you 24/7. Each training program are 8 weeks long. So within those 8 weeks, those first 2 weeks is familiarizing yourself with the form, setting those numbers with the weight and reps. And then the next 6 weeks is boiling down towards hypertrophy style training. We are constantly laying the foundation, building consistency, and building lean muscle tissue by progressively overloading in our reps or weight. Okay, and then the 8 weeks after that will be a program built off of the strengths and weaknesses that I see over in our first programming and make adjustments from there. All right, guys.